I understand 100% that Chloe was very mad. I mean, she caught me cheating. The only thing that I was mad about, I just felt like she was just trying to sabotage my reputation as much as she possibly can. Like, she went through my phone without me knowing, took screenshots, went to show all of her friends and everybody. Then you want to send me everything like, this is what I got on you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to ruin your reputation. My friend out of...
You know, Johnny really cares a lot about his reputation, doesn't he? Really cares about his reputation. It makes you wonder, out of all the women that he has been with in his life, all the women that he's been unfaithful to, I wonder how he's always managed to silence them. To be honest, I'm quite surprised that we haven't had women come out to speak out against him and say, hey, this guy actually did this, he did that. Because for me personally, the guy screams nothing but skeletons. So I do find it interesting. And to be fair, anytime anyone says anything about him on social media, that being IG for that matter, he's very quick to shut people down. When the rumors came out about him having 6 kids, he shut it down. Now, obviously, when rumors came out about how the fact that he was just filled with just STDs, shut it down. And don't get me wrong, of course, if people are making rumors about you that are not true, it's important to address them. It's important to shut them down. But it's just the way he goes about it, it's very suspect. He does it in ways that makes you feel like he's hiding something rather than trying to protect, well, rather than trying to reveal the truth, if that makes any sense. But either way, though, here, he spoke about how he doesn't like the fact that she went down through his phone. Interesting, because, well...
Like, support, you know, I did need somebody there. All right. For the timeline, for the sake of everyone, these 2 incidents that him and I are referring to were very early on. It wasn't working. So yes, I did cheat, and then he also cheated. Try to say that I made this all about him cheating. I'm sitting here right now saying I cheated, which takes a big girl to do. I don't know if you know what a big girl is, but...
To be fair, the feud between Chloe and Madeline was very much unexpected, but hey, Luke has a lot to do with that, doesn't he now? Because obviously he decided to slide into a DM, but that's something we'll get into obviously shortly. But here's the thing. So Chloe's obviously letting us know that I cheated, he cheated before we became serious. Once we both had the conversation about infidelity, we then both decided to actually begin our actual relationship and not to look back. But unfortunately, what happened was Johnny over here still decided to cheat again, which is obviously what made things even worse between the two. But here's the thing, folks. If you are with somebody and you consider the fact that you've already cheated on them, well, then why are you still together? Because the maddest thing about it, she's saying, yes, I did cheat. And yes, he did cheat too. At the very beginning, before we became exclusive, whatever. But the fact that you're using the word cheat means that both you two had the ability to show disrespect to your relationship from the very get-go. Which means that even from the very get-go, your relationship wasn't even that strong. Which is a problem. A massive problem. So really and truly, they should have walked away from that moment in time. Because I don't know why she believed or he believed, or to be fair, most importantly, Chloe believed that their relationship was going to be any more solid now they were official. Now they were exclusive. Because it's evident that the respect that these two had for each other already started rotten.
Who started the cheating?
That was me. That was the girl that sent me the news.
After she moved to Aruba, did you and this girl correspond?
Oh, is that one time? No, only because I did see messages. They were cheating the whole time, but it wasn't actually that situation.
So obviously once they had their reconciliation, obviously he then decided to cheat again, obviously with the girl with the nudes, even though he denied doing it at the time. Interesting.
The thing you can say that I cheated on was the nudes, and I 100% stand on that. Don't try to put it wasn't like that. I mean, it was really...
So basically, Johnny's argument is the fact that he doesn't like that she is trying to say that all of the cheating that he has done is now portraying him as a serial cheater. Huh. So you cheated on her before you were official, then you cheated on her after you were official. I mean, that's 2 cheats, right? Does it make you a serial cheater? I guess that's a very subjective question. But one thing that it definitely does expose is that clearly your heart was never in this relationship with her. Your care was never there for her. It evidently shows that because you were able to get away with it once, you're going to be able to get away with it again. That's why you believe that requesting nudes from another woman was always going to be A-okay. There is no justifying their behavior. That's just the bottom line.
Really hard for me to not believe that when my best friend was crying time after time again, you know? And
yeah, Chloe knows she lied a lot about a lot of things. I went to her phone, and I found the conversation with bank payments, money being sent to her. One guy, and there are multiple payments.
Wait, $20,000.
First and foremost, he had a whole history about the fact that she went through his phone. But look at what we got here. He also went through her phone too. The matter of fact is, these two are nothing but two people that go tick for tack. One does one, another one does the other. Pretty much back and forth, back and forth. Very unhealthy, very toxic relationship. But very unstable relationship, shall I say. But either way, though, he's now showing himself to be a hypocrite by going for her phone too. But either way, though, let's talk about this 20K.
Yes.
The storyline of that situation, he's actually close to my age, and we were actually together at one point. So I'm sorry that I had a guy who wanted to send me money. You should know what that's like. I said he was literally 34. He's an age older than you. Babe, he's like 32. What do you mean? I had a relationship with this man prior to your ass, which I'm allowed to do.
No, but the thing that I find funny is that alright, you're still sending you money when you're with me, so.
Listen, you didn't have money to front up, so someone had to pay the bills.
Yeah, you never paid a single bill in my house, Chloe. You never paid anything. The only thing you.
Damn. Someone had to send me money because someone had to pay the bills. So the question is, given the fact that she was still receiving money from an ex or a guy that she was involved with before, while she was in a relationship with Johnny, I mean, listen, it may not be physical cheating, but that's still also a form of cheating, right? It's definitely a form of doing something behind your partner's back that you shouldn't be doing. So again, like I said, when it comes to these two, it's always a tick for tack. He went out there, got nudes, did whatever. She went out there and was still receiving money, but she thought, yeah, she saw it as well. He's not giving me money, so I get money from this guy. So basically, she was like, I'll benefit financially from one guy and then benefit physically from another guy. Honestly, their relationship never had any solid ground to begin with. So therefore, it was never going to last. It was never going to go anywhere. So really and truly, when it comes to her being mad at him, well, the reality is this: they both should be mad at the fact that they never had both feet in the first place. Hell, I wouldn't even say either one of them even had one foot inside the relationship. I would say both of them probably had their toes in the relationship. I would say Johnny probably had his small toe in the relationship, and she probably had her big toe in the relationship, and that's as far as it went. Nothing else but that. But hey, the shade there thrown towards Madeline was something else. But again, though, I don't know why her and Madeline had this freaking tick for tack situation. Honestly, but then again, sometimes people will be the way they are. But let's talk about the Madeline situation. Why was Madeline so much in her feelings? Why was she so upset with Chloe's existence, shall I say? Well, let's get into that one right quick.
Luke actually messaged me saying, hey, like, are we grabbing a drink tonight? What are you doing? Ellen kind of is sensing some, like, attraction from him towards me. I can see why she would be jealous of me.
Nothing is wrong when you're single.
No.
That's the thing. That's the lesson of your segment.
So, first and foremost, we're seeing that obviously, well, Chloe, I guess she's single anyway, so for a guy to want to approach her, that's entirely up to them. Whatever she wants to do with that person, I guess, is entirely up to them either way, because she's single. But at the same time, though, the question, when Luke was sliding into Chloe's DMs, was he with Madeline? Right now, we have not been given confirmation that these two are no longer together. The only confirmation that we've seen so far is the fact that Luke shows in the previews that he's not wearing his wedding ring, which indicates that he's no longer with her. And also, on top of that, we have seen things prior to this where he has been seen on social or on dating apps. I'm not too sure which ones, but he's been seen on those as well across America. So it does really show and prove even more that yes, him and Madeline probably aren't together anymore, and their wedding was nothing but a waste of time and a waste of money, which I guess we all knew anyway. So if Luke has gone out of his way to slide into Chloe's DMs as a single man, then really and truly, what are they doing wrong? Nothing. But you know how people be sometimes. People just love to be hella territorial over their partners, or I should say over their exes. Especially if your ex carried your child, you know what I mean? Then yes, that's a whole different conversation, isn't it now? But with that being said, though, let's move on to the next one, because goddamn, this tell was definitely something else.
You were headed. Where are you living now?
London.
You are. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What made you decide to live in the UK?
I got a job.
That's why you stayed in the UK, because you got that work visa.
Yeah.
Is it your plan to stay there forever?
Yes.
You know, to be honest with you, based on everything that's happening right now in the United States with ICE and and God knows what else is happening, I don't blame them for wanting to stay in the UK. Usually I'll say to people, I don't know if it's a good idea coming here, but in this situation, I fully support it. Anyway, let's just carry on. Let's get into the nitty and gritty of the storyline.
It took about a month to actually really come to terms with that, okay, that actually did happen. She actually isn't reaching out again afterwards.
Surprised that it happened.
It's crazy because he speaks about it took about a month and a bit for him to move on and to realize certain things and to recognize that she wasn't reaching out. See, this is the problem with Matthew. Matthew's always expected Greta to be the one putting the work in. That's why when she decided to leave his ass after 4 days, I didn't blame her, because she did say that prior to that, 6 months prior to that, when she was in America and he was here obviously in the UK, she was already pulling away from the man. She was already feeling a certain type of way. But she thought, you know what, let me at least go there and let's see if the feeling is going to come back when I see him for the first time. But instead of the feeling coming back when she saw him for the first time again in the UK, what did he say? He told her that she smelt. Even though she flew God knows how many hours from America to the UK and then took a train that from Heathrow, I would imagine that he would have, because there's no way the flight from the States would have gone to where she's at. No, sorry. There's no way the flight that she would have taken from America to the UK, based on when he lives, would have never gone directly there. So she would have had to have gone to Heathrow, which means then from Heathrow, she would have then had to have got a train from Heathrow to Exeter. Because I remember the train station was Exeter. Exeter from Heathrow, that's not a close journey. That's a long train ride. And also on top of that, from my understanding, it's not even a one train. It's also a train you have to get with. You have to come off from one place and then get back on the train again. But either way, though, this man did nothing but to make her feel welcome the moment that she landed. All right. And all I'm saying is he's somebody that, for me personally, he displayed where he didn't want to make much effort. He wanted her to be making most of the effort. And that's why, obviously, in this situation here, he's talking about how, yeah, I didn't hear from her after a month. I'm sorry, but she left you. I'm sorry, but if you wanted her back, it should have been you pursuing her respectfully. Pursuing her in a way that isn't, stalkerish. But again, he didn't do none of that stuff. He barely lifted a finger to make this girl feel comfortable. But let's get into it.
So fast, yeah. But where was any of the attempt from you? Comfort her.
You could have done so much to make her feel welcome and to make her feel wanted.
Dude, you couldn't even empty a drawer?
A drawer? A drawer? And it's nothing but facts. Did we ever really see this man comfort her whenever she expressed anything? Because I mean, listen, when she was there, she expressed how she didn't really want to move to a house. She wanted to live in an apartment. And listen, some of these conversations sometimes can look like as if they're not a big deal, but they are, because she's using her voice and her voice isn't even being considered. There's a fine line between having a voice and somebody not listening to it at all, compared to somebody listening to it and somebody considering it. If you've got a voice and you're trying to voice certain things, you want somebody to either listen or to at least consider what you're saying. None of those things were practices for Matthew. Each time she spoke, didn't care.
Unfair.
She just moved for you.
Yeah, it would have been helpful if you had prioritized her more.
Yeah.
It felt like she was just kind of feel disconnected emotionally. Like, I felt like I was expressing a lot of sadness and did not necessarily feel comforted by Matthew.
Somebody please tell me one moment that you experienced Matthew try and comfort this woman, to be honest with you. Each time they had conversations about anything, and even when it came to the breakup, even when she told him that, hey, this isn't working for me, and this isn't going to work, did he really try and pull the punches? I'm not saying he should have pulled the punches, because if he wanted the relationship to be over, then fair enough, it is what it is, right? But even in that moment in time when she was crying and she was trying to be emotional, she was trying to explain how she felt, he kind of made it all about himself. He started basically showing his emotions, started kind of talking about how he was upset, rather than trying, and don't get me wrong, there was nothing wrong with that, but in that situation, if he really wanted her, he should have said, listen, I understand, because bear in mind, when they had the breakup, she even said to him that I've been feeling like this for 6 months. He had an opportunity to say to her, listen, I understand what you're saying, I hear you. For the 6 months that obviously you was away, and you was obviously at home in America, and I was here, based on what you're telling me right now, you're right. I do recall the fact that we wasn't communicating as much. And to be fair, in that moment in time when we wasn't maybe doing enough for each other, to be fair, I should have done more. I should have maybe tried to talk to you more or ring you more or to be there for you more. But you know what? I didn't. I was too busy here. And this is the maddest thing is, he was too busy here in the UK living at his parents' house. So it's not like he had crazy responsibilities. So the guy had time in his hands to be able to, put energy into his relationship, but he didn't. You see what I'm saying? So end of the day, he could have come back with a response that said, you know what, I'm gonna take accountability for me not doing my part. But not only am I gonna take accountability for me not doing my part, but also on top of that, he can then also respond to how she was talking about how she didn't want to do certain things once she got there. No, he could have then in that moment said, you know what, I didn't make enough effort when you was away, and even when you came in, I still didn't make enough effort because I didn't even have a drawer ready for you. I didn't even have a home ready for us. You know what I mean? I didn't even come to the airport for you. I insulted you at the airport, and I just wasn't actually making you feel welcomed, loved, cared for. He could have said something along those lines, right? And something like that would have shown her that he actually does want to be with her, and he actually is seeing he's wrong, and he actually wants to work on it. But instead of doing that, she told him that I'm going to go, and the guy just literally went to ran to daddy, cried to daddy, and tried to get his dad to convince Greta to stay. Who does that? Why are you trying to get someone else to convince the person that's leaving you to be with you? If anyone's going to convince her, it's going to be you, because the words have to come from you. They have to be pure from you. They have to come from an emotional place from you. But nah, he got his dad to do it. Scumbag move. The guy is lazy. He's lazy. Anyway, let's continue.
Matthew, are you taking responsibility for any of this?
I mean, of course I can do more. I never shy away from that. I'm in a really good place right now.
Nice. Well, happy for you, Matthew.
Sure.
He never shied away from doing more. I'm sure you did, buddy. But anyway, he's in a good place now, folks.
Maybe about 5 or 6 months after, something like that.
Well, that was quick.
How did you two meet?
Online actually, on an app.
Consummate. So what happened after dinner, dude? Did you get laid that night?
I'm my new partner. I don't really want to give people loads of detail on that.
So here's the thing. He now says that he was able to move on and find someone about 5 to 6 months later on, and obviously wants to keep it private, which is fantastic. I know some people wonder why did Greta even ask him a question. I think her question was just a reflex, to be honest with you. I don't think she actually wanted to ask him anything, but he just reflexed. But listen, at first I said to myself, why do I feel like he's lying? I actually didn't believe he was telling the truth regarding him now moving on and having someone new in his life. But then I thought about it. This is the kind of person that showed evidence of somebody who just likes to not be alone and just wants someone around him. So to be fair, there's a chance that he is with somebody, and whether or not he's telling the truth, but the fact that he's with them because that person's his soulmate, I don't know. He could be saying that because it's true, or he could be saying it because it's just a bunch of gibberish. Because here's the thing, there are some people in this world that struggle with being alone and they need someone around. So therefore, anyone who they meet, they always see that person as the one until that person doesn't work out. You see what I'm saying? But then Greta said something interesting. She said that she was pretty much the first person he's really ever been with. He's barely really active like that. Which I think is why she actually asked him, where did you meet? Because, well, the guy hasn't got a record of being with many people, for that matter, which is fine, you know what I mean? But again, I part of me wonders, is he telling the truth though? Is he really with someone? I don't know. Give me your thoughts on that one, please. Just give me your thoughts. But nonetheless, though, let's move on to the next one. Boy. Everyone's favorite couple, hey? Everyone's favorite freaking human being.
Someone wants to know, does Anthony still make you want to, quote, die inside?
So, sometimes yes.
But Manon, how could you be with somebody if they're going to make you feel that way?
It doesn't make me feel I want to die inside 24/7 every single day of my life.
And then after
So let's talk about that. That's a fair response, because I feel like some people have this crazy imagination just because you're in love with someone and you're in a relationship with somebody, that it means that every day you love them. The people don't understand there's gonna be some days where you're gonna love your partner and some days you're gonna hate your partner, right? There's certain days you're gonna want to rip his or her clothes off, and then there's certain days you're gonna be like, don't touch me. It's a normal thing, It's actually a dumb question, to be fair with you, by Patty, but Patty isn't exactly the brightest of people, is she now? I'm just putting it out there, folks. Understand this. It is actually impossible to love the person you're with every single time you see them, because sometimes issues can happen. This is why a lot of couples have to go for therapy, or some couples have to go. That's why they say through thick and thin, because not every day is going to be good. But anyway, let's continue.
After that, I ended up getting a job at a fast food restaurant in the kitchen.
Are you still doing that?
No.
Well, for very, very low salaries. So I said to him, like, why are you doing this? Because we don't need that low amount of money. I am not the type of woman who wants to settle for the bare minimum. I don't want a yacht tomorrow, but I just don't want the bare minimum.
So here's the thing. He got a job, obviously, and he was only earning about 900 euros, shall I say, or whatever, a month. Which definitely is not a lot of money in any shape or form. To be honest with you, I would say that Anthony is actually very fortunate to have a woman like Manon in terms of her mentality. Because you see, if she sees her husband working and he's working his crazy hours, but he's only being rewarded by 900 a month, and she says, no, I don't want you working this job. You need to quit it. I need you to get a better job. That's a good thing, because all she's doing is helping you elevate. She doesn't want to settle for less, and that's a very good trait to have. She obviously believes that there are other jobs out there that he could do that would pay him more and will be more worth his time. And that honestly, like, I would rather be with somebody like her, somebody who, if I get a job today and it ain't paying me nothing, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to be with someone who says, well, at least it's something. Nah, I don't want to be with that person. I want to be the person who says, listen, I know you're getting paid more now than what you was when you wasn't working because you wasn't getting nothing, but you're worth more than this. Come on now. I know you can. We've got to find a plan. We've got to figure something out here. Let's try and think of all of your qualities and see how we can get your job based on your qualities that's going to give you a pay that makes sense. 100%, because she's pushing him, motivating him. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with working in a fast food place or any job. A job is a job at the end of the day, right? But if I can be with somebody who's going to tell me that I can work a job that's going to pay me even more, why the hell would I not listen? Because look, let's not get it twisted. I'm pretty sure if he was still working in this fast food place, but he was getting paid a good salary, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't be saying that much. Do you see what I'm saying? But it's kind of wild though, because I wonder what fast food place he was working. Because I tell you this now, in the UK, if you work at McDonald's, your salary's really good. I promise you now, McDonald's, Audi, Lidl, they got some hella good salaries, especially when you work up to management, supervisor, and everything. The salaries aren't no joke, you know what I mean? So I'm very curious, where the hell was he working? But then again, I'm only talking about it based on the UK. But let's continue.
Really campaigning to be the mayor of my little city right now.
Mayor?
Yes, I am.
Wow.
I'm with the neighbors. I'm bringing a lot of activities for the kids because I want also my son to know all of the kids in the village.
To get past some hating on France, I feel like you have to love the country.
Ooh.
See, that's why our marriage hasn't been so great. Yes, I've been resenting him a little bit. I have my fault.
But why do you resent?
Well, before we get into that one, see, the only reason why Mignon would not work as a mayor, well, the only reason why people would not vote for her, to be more specific, is because she's too honest. Let's be real. To win any type of political election, you have to be a liar. You have to know how to deceive people. You have to know how to mislead people. You have to know how to sway them in one direction when really this is the real direction. You know what I mean? For her, she's way too cutthroat. Which, to be fair, is a great trait to have in many areas in life, but not when you're trying to win a race.
Yeah, why?
Because he doesn't see what I'm doing for him and for us as a family. Of my whole career that I built so hard for in all of those years. I was a full immigrant in the US. The UK has done a lot for me, but me too.
So sometimes the way you're sort of pushing around and treating him, it's like you don't really love him.
Do love him. Yes, and always will.
You know, people believe that because the way she treats him and talks to him, it must mean that she doesn't love him. That's utter BS. I believe the reason why she treats him is because she wants more out of him. But the problem with Mignon is that this is the thing she needs to understand, right? She would never, ever get more out of him unless he wants more out of himself. The reality is this. It's going to sound like a wild thing to say. But listen, I'm going to tell you this now. The reality is this, yeah. Mignon needs to understand that based on her mentality and how she loves to thrive in life, Anthony's not in her league. She's out of his league when it comes to mentality of what you want in life. Anthony is somebody that is built to be with a woman that just wants to live the very simple, easy life. That doesn't mind, the job that pays a very little as long as they're happy in their relationship. Do you see what I'm saying? The simple life, which is an amazing life to have. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, Anthony isn't built to be with somebody that's a go-getter, somebody that's never satisfied with just sitting still, somebody that just has to be on the go because they have to always be productive. And to be fair, on top of that, people like Mignon who have to be productive, who have to be on the go, the thing is though, if you stop them from doing that, it really messes up their mental health. A part of her mental health being even strong in the first place is the fact that she's always feeling productive. She feels useful. She feels that she's got a purpose. You strip that away from her, she's not going to feel like anything. And that's why she is the way she is. And this is why her and Anthony isn't going to work. She's out of his league in that aspect. Do you see what I'm saying? So Anthony, really and truly, I don't know why he's with Mignon, to be honest. I don't know why she's with him. But, they have to really think about their relation moving forward. Because this isn't it. They're not a match in my opinion. The love is there, but they're not a match. Love isn't enough to sustain a relationship. What's a love gotta do? Gotta do it. Now, my vocals are top notch. I should be signed right now. I'm kidding, relax. But yes, I hope you understand what I'm saying, right? I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that they're not in the same league as each other. They're both in two different leagues. And that's just the grand scheme of it. And to be fair, this is why I believe she is the way she is towards him. The reason why she talks to him all the time with such frustration is because she's just hoping that he's finally going to change his mind. And it's interesting because I was watching Landman yesterday, And there's a scene, obviously, with his father, and they're talking about his mother, and talking about why the father stayed around for so many years, even though the mother was pretty much a mean person after a tragic event. And he said, it's because I wasted 7 amount of years of my life based on hope that I would finally have the wife that I once had again. That's what Mignon's doing right now. She's living life, wasting her time on hope that this man's going to one day be like, yeah, let's go, let me become a go-getter with you. When he just doesn't have it in him. It's just not who he is, which is fine. They're both suited for different people. That's the reality of it. Maybe their relationship only worked originally purely because he didn't want to work. No, I think their relationship only worked originally purely because he was happy to be a stay-at-home dad originally, which didn't affect her because at least she was still able to go out there, be a go-getter while he was there looking after their child. But now because he wants to have a job, she can't settle with him just having any ordinary job. She needs him to have a job that's complements her, should we say.
My husband bad, then I'll treat everyone bad. Okay, go for it.
Well,
What
I'm not
do you
saying
say then? Go
everybody.
ahead.
I'm just saying
Go
your
ahead.
husband.
Go ahead, girl. I'm a bad mom. I'm a bad wife. I'm a bad woman. I'm a villain or whatever. Okay, got it.
Because you see how she always ends up victimizing herself. She's completely oblivious to the fact that she victimizes herself. She thinks that she's... this is actually quite tragic. She is very quite because she doesn't recognize why she's even victimizing herself. It's not because she's a victim to the situation that we're looking at. To her, she's a victim of having freaking hope, false hope. That's just the reality of it. She's just hurting herself, to be honest with you. Anthony's not really doing anything wrong. That's the grand scheme of it. He's not really doing that much wrong in their relationship. He's just not for her.
You know, she blocked my sister on my own Instagram.
Yeah, because she talks about me all the time.
A leash.
Candace, when you say she monitors his phone,
Yes.
What evidence do you have of that?
As if it was Anthony texting me. Anthony doesn't write with emojis. He doesn't write long paragraphs.
That was
Exactly.
That's crazy though. They're not a match.
I went to him and I said, you should say that. He was like, send it. So I send it.
Time, my phone is off me. Yes. Delete messages if I'm talking to my family.
What kinds of messages would you have to delete?
Essentially, my sister said something hurtful. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to delete these messages because she's going to go through my phone. She's going to messages.
And I don't like that, so I make a change.
Then let him.
I'll make a change, I'm telling you.
Let him have a relationship with all of us.
I mean, listen, that's a whole other page now. You see what I'm saying? Like, doesn't get along with the family.
You want to stay?
Well, it looks like she won't be here for the next episode of the Tell. At least that's how it seems when she decides to storm off. And you know what? You do what you gotta do, girl. You do what you gotta do. Anyway, I've said everything that I need to say regarding Mignon and Anthony and whatnot, so I'll leave the rest of it down to you folks. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.